afternoon. Is your name still Sabrina Sims?
Yes, it is.
And you are one of the two case detectives in this case.
Yes, I am.
I want to talk to you a little bit about the different areas that were searched by police in connection to this case. Of course, one place that was searched was the Irwin Road address in Cottage Grove, Dane County, Wisconsin.
Yes.
And that was searched primarily because a human torso was found on the land.
That's correct.
Okay. And we've also talked with Greg Leatherberry and others. The 4595 Oak Springs Circle address in Windsor, Dane County, Wisconsin, was also searched by police.
Yes.
And that's primarily because of information that came out of seeing Chandler Halderson as being the person that was seen close to where the torso was, so you were looking for a crime scene.
That's correct.
Okay. I'm going to show you what has been marked as exhibits 459 through 465. If you would look at exhibits 459 through 465. And as a group, would you describe those exhibits as photographs of other locations searched by the Dane County Sheriff's Office?
Yes, I would.
I would move exhibits 459 through 465 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
They are received.
And I would ask to publish.
You may publish.
And I will take the HDMI now.
Attorney Raymond, is the podium in your way as far as sight lines to the witness?
No,
Oh,
it's fine for me.
I couldn't tell from my angle. Thank you, Attorney Brown.
Okay. I think it's connected if it's turned, is it turned on?
Thank you.
Okay. Detective Sims, what does exhibit 459 show?
This is a drone image of the backyard of the Halderson home, overlooking the pond area directly behind the Halderson home.
And was this pond area searched?
Yes, it was.
Tell me about that. How did the Dane County Sheriff's Office search the pond?
It was definitely done with a lot of thought, with cooperation with the pond owner, all of the residents that lived on the pond. We had to get consent from all of them. Obviously, we've taken in consideration the wildlife and fish around the pond. We didn't want to disturb that as part of our decision-making. We searched the pond because of the proximity to the residents, being directly behind the residents. At the point the decision was made to search the pond, we were still looking for numerous items of evidence. If you can see in this photograph, I guess it would be on the right side, that is our dive team truck. We had our dive team assist in part of this search. So they obviously got into the water. They also had difficulty in the search because, as you can see, there's numerous weeds growing in the pond. So as the search started, some of the divers who are Dane County deputy sheriffs, they just were struggling with the environment and the weeds below the water. So a decision was made in cooperation again with the pond owner, and we also used Dane County Parks to assist in cutting weeds out of the park, or out of the pond. So we brought in a weed cutter and methodically cut weeds out so that the divers would have an easier time searching the area to try to get to the bottom of the pond.
Did the team also search all the weeds that they cut to make sure no items of evidence were missed?
Yes, we did. That happened over 2 days, actually. The weeds were cut, taken on a conveyor belt, transported to the Dane County Law Enforcement Training Center, laid out in different batches, and searched by hand, and also a cadaver canine ran around the different piles of weeds as well.
Showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 460, is this just a different view of the pond?
Yes, it is.
And that's after some of the water has been drained, is that fair?
That is fair to say. I should backtrack. The decision initially was to drain the pond to assist the divers. As is with any plan, sometimes it changes because as the water was decreasing in the pond, it actually made it more difficult for the divers. So at that point, the decision was made to cut the weeds.
Did it become more difficult because of the mud?
Yes, the bottom, from what I was told, it was, there was a lot of silt at the bottom. The divers were kind of getting stuck, as they were trying to get to the bottom, feeling by hand, but also, with their feet.
And at the end of the day, was anything of evidentiary value located in the pond?
No, it was not.
Now I'm going to show you what's already been received as Exhibit 532. This is the Snapchat that the girlfriend Kat Melander took of Chandler at the Roxbury location. Did that lead to a search?
Yes, it did.
And that's the search that we've heard previously about, where the legs of Mrs. Halderson were collected.
Yes.
We heard Greg Leatherberry yesterday talk about how the trash can tested positive for blood. Based on that information, what, if any, searches did the Dane County Sheriff's Office perform?
So we actually had talked about the red staining that Deputy Leatherberry observed on the garbage can, and his plan was to test that staining, and if it tested positive for blood and then human blood, we had made the decision that we were going to search a landfill. So we had a detective basically follow from where the truck picked up the trash at the Windsor residence, where that trash went, which ultimately was a transfer point, and it ended up in a landfill in Jefferson County, a waste management landfill. We also had confirmation that the trash went out on Monday, July 5th, 2021. And we had that information because we know the route, but also because of the surveillance video that we got from 111 Oak Springs. So we actually saw the garbage can and the recycle bin wheeled to the curb by Chandler. So based on the time frame from when the garbage went out to when we had started our investigation, we felt that it was necessary to search the landfill, knowing that that task would be, very challenging, something that, in my experience as a detective, or actually as the Sheriff's Office for Dane County, we have never done.
Okay. And I'm showing you Exhibit 461. What in the world is Exhibit 461?
Again, this is a drone image of the landfill. It's the Deer Track landfill in Watertown, which is in Jefferson County. This was taken as part of our recon of the area. This was the area that Detective Meyerhofer had worked with the landfill management and determined that this was the cell area where we believed that the trash from the Halderson residence ended up.
Okay. And Exhibit 462, how would you describe Exhibit 462?
Again, this is just a drone image overlooking the area. You can see, I guess, to the far left of the screen, that is Interstate 94. And then kind of directly in the center of the screen towards the bottom is the specific cell or trash area we were going to be searching.
Exhibit 463. Could you please describe that for the
Yes,
jury?
463 is, I guess, as the process was going, this was taken, as you can see, there's plastic bags all over the place, there's wood. There's actually an individual standing pretty much in the center, upper center of the picture. He's wearing a yellow shirt and blue hard hat. He's standing basically in the cell area that they searched. The cell area, if I remember right, I want to say it was 50 feet wide by 50 feet. 50 feet wide by 50 feet, and then like 10 feet deep. It was a total of 20,000 cubic feet that they searched.
And was it basically they went piece by piece?
They did. Again, that was, meetings we had to logistically plan how to do that safely because of the environment you're going in, the safety equipment that was needed. We actually, deputies that worked at the landfill for the 2 weeks that we did that had to take an OSHA training before participating in the search. And that was done with, the best safety measures we could over the time period that we were there.
Exhibit 464.
464 is yet another image of the individual standing, more just for reference to determine like how deep the trash is. The individual standing there, he's approximately 5'9". So just for like a reference point of what you're looking at. Again, he's standing in the center of compacted trash. The trash is compacted numerous times. It's smashed from the time it gets taken from the curb in the truck to the transfer point. It's actually ran over with, it's almost like spikes smashed down to try to obviously tear it apart and smash it, which made it very difficult to search. You can see the torn pieces of paper, plastic, items you really can't even make out within this image.
And then finally, exhibit 465.
This is
Another
just-
picture of the dump search.
Yes, this is just a close-up, again, just trying to show the depth of the trash that was being searched.
Now, did the search team come across any items of blood?
They did.
And did those end up being of any evidentiary value?
No, they did not. I should say that we were working in conjunction with the medical examiner's office and the forensic anthropologist, Dr. Christina Figueroa Soto, as well, in case we did come across anything. There were some bones that were found, none of those determined to be human bone. There was medical waste, bags of blood, stuff like that.
And about how many people were involved in that search?
I would say each day it was approximately 10 to 12 people for a total of 10 days, that same amount each day.
Okay, and did you receive any tips from citizens throughout this investigation?
We did.
About how many of those would you estimate?
I would say between 30 and 40.
And was each tip followed up on?
Yes.
Did one of those tips result in a search of the Lord of Love Church?
Yes, it did.
Windsor, Wisconsin?
Sorry. Yes, it did.
How long and can you just tell me about that property and how it was searched?
Yep, so that tip came in I want to say 2 weeks into the investigation, I want to say it was July 17th, that we actually searched that area. The church itself is located south of the Halderson home, so in close distance-wise to the home. So we put a search team together based on the information from the tipster that there was an odor coming from some of the grass property that was behind the church. There's also like a walkway around that area. Ultimately, it was determined there was actually some sewer work being done in that area. We did search it with a large search team, a cadaver canine, and ultimately located nothing.
Okay. Did you guys also search the town of Burke Park, which is right outside of Sun Prairie, Wisconsin?
Yes, we did.
Why did you search that area?
Throughout the investigation, we were talking to numerous witnesses, people that knew Chandler Halderson. We had received information from some of the people that we interviewed that it was a park that Mr. Halderson or Chandler would frequent or had been to in the past. It's a very rural park. There's a waterway there. There's a bridge and a large field you can walk across. So we thought, using our resources on the same day of the Lord of Love search, we would search the town of Burke Park to determine if we could find any evidence there, and ultimately we did not.
Was the Pine Island Wildlife Area in Portage, Wisconsin searched?
Yes, it was.
Why was that area searched?
At that point in the investigation, when we decided to search that area, we had received cell phone records from Chandler's cell phone. So this had been weeks into the investigation. We worked with an analyst who mapped his cell phone records, and we had determined that there was a trip to the Pine Island Wildlife Area, which is in Columbia County, which is an area that is along the Wisconsin River. Chandler was out there late in the evening, between 10:30 and 11 at night. His cell phone was in that area for several minutes, and we just thought, based on all of the information we had so far in our investigation, how we had found, at this point, Krista Halderson's legs at the Wisconsin River in Roxbury, we thought we needed to search that area up in Portage as well.
And does that area run along the Wisconsin River?
It does.
And did you have your dive team out to that location?
Yes, we did. We actually conducted a search over a couple of different days. Just the landscape overall is challenging. There's bogs and different waterways. The area in which we searched, it was right along Levee Road, which is a levee that butts up to the Wisconsin River. That river itself, the water level fluctuates quite a bit, and it also has a strong current. So we had searched it on foot with search teams one day, and ultimately deciding that we would try and put our divers into the water after a cadaver canine had alerted along the banks of one of the search areas. The Dane County Sheriff's Office dive team did go out there one day, also with the DNR and Columbia County Sheriff's Office. And one of our divers did get in the water, and immediately upon getting in the water, it was realized that it was very dangerous. It was something that our dive team had not done before in the Wisconsin River. Due to the current and just how strong the current was, it was such a dangerous situation that we basically pulled him back into the boat and did no more searching there.
But you mentioned a cadaver dog did alert along the shore.
Yes, we utilized a couple of different officers that have cadaver canines that are employed at the City of Madison Police Department, and we did a mutual aid request for their assistance.
No further questions at this time.
Cross-examination.
No, thank you.
Thank you very much, Detective. You can return back to the table.